This is the Simpit. I'm your instructor, Sean Cole. Now, when it comes to driving, we do it every day. Most of us take it for granted and don't even think about it. But when you're on a racetrack, I'm going to tell you, every movement, every twitch of the muscle you make is for a very specific reason, and it can be done to perfection, ultimately saving you time on the track. Now, to start things off, and I mean quite literally start things off, I'm going to take you today through getting the car under speed, shifting it through the gears, and then decelerating it at its maximum rate called threshold braking. Now, each car is unique, and each one is going to handle all of these moments slightly differently, but the principles that you're going to learn today will carry with you for each car, each track, each simulation that you'll ever try in the future. Now, before we get started, I do want to make one important point, and it's something that I hope you'll take with you through all of these lessons through your entire career as a race driver. When your tires are squealing, when they're screaming, when you're peeling out and smoking the tires, ultimately you are not getting the most traction. The most traction happens at that moment right before the tires start to spin. You can actually hear a difference when you can hear this ultimate amount of grinding going on versus when you start to hear the squeal of those tires. That is the moment of maximum adhesion. Now, when you're peeling out of the pits, when you're peeling out of the start-finish line and burning them coming out of the corner, you are losing speed. You're unnecessarily heating your tires, and you're probably adding a little additional wear that you didn't need. And the same could be said under braking. When you're on ultimate braking and getting it to the point that you're getting the maximum amount of grip, you're going to hear a grinding noise going on, the friction between the tires and the concrete. That is the sweet spot. The moment that they start to squeal and start to lock up, you're now sliding and you're not getting maximum traction. Now let's go ahead and get the car underway. Go ahead and put it into first gear and put on the gas and feel the difference when you give it a little bit of gas and a lot of gas. Again, you're looking for that sweet spot, the most amount of gas you can give it before the tires start to spin out of control. When you get good at this, you'll actually find yourself feathering the throttle pedal in order to get it right on that sweet spot and keep it, always pushing it forward, trying to get as much out of it without spinning the tires too much. As you start to build up speed, you'll notice that you'll be able to apply full throttle once the car is underway. Typically speaking, you're going to want to run the car through the RPMs nearing the red line before shifting into second gear, continuing it through the gears until you're fully underway. Now, accelerating the car is fairly simple, especially if you didn't loop it once you put too much gas on. Obviously, the lower the horsepower or torque of the car is, the easier it's going to be and the faster you're going to be able to apply full throttle. On a high horsepowered car, maybe like a Lotus 79, you're going to find that 1/3 throttle might be too much at times and backing off from there even. Now let's move into deceleration, or a lot of people call it threshold braking. Threshold braking is the point where you are applying the most brakes possible, getting all of the wheels stopping together before they start to lock up. The moment they start to lock up, as I mentioned earlier, you are now skidding and you are not slowing down as fast as you can. And in fact, you've added a new problem, you're now sliding. But when you're working that edge, that threshold braking point, just like the gas, you're going to be feathering the brake pedal. You're going to be giving it as much as you can, finding it's a little too much and backing off. What you're doing is creating your own ABS system. You are waiting, you're giving it as much possible braking as you can, and then releasing slightly from the moment that it feels like it's too much, where you're hearing or getting a sensation of wheel lockup. And once the car has begun braking and the balance of the car is settled, you'll find that you can actually begin to apply more and more brake pressure. And to further increase the braking, you can actually downshift using the engine to also brake the car. But in the beginning, you're going to want to do that very slowly and focus more on your brake pedal than using the engine to slow down the car. If you start downshifting too quickly, you'll notice it'll lock up the rear end of the car and completely change everything. Now, there are a few reasons why you would want to master threshold braking as a race car driver. Threshold braker is going to allow you to save up to 1/10 of a second per every braking zone on the track, lap after lap. It is also what is going to set you up for perfect entry into the corner when you've established the braking zone of the car. It is also through threshold braking that you're going to start to understand the real balance of the car, and from there you can start to make fine-tuning adjustments to brake bias or other things in the car to slow down or increase the speed of braking or balance of the car. But none of that comes until you've really got the good sensation of wheel lockup and can keep the car right at that point. And lastly, it is from threshold braking that we would move into an advanced technique called trail braking, where you'll actually use the brake going into the corner to allow the rear end to steer a little more, but that's something we're going to get to in a later lesson. Now, regardless of your favorite car or sim to drive, it is very important that you understand and have mastered these techniques. Being able to brake in the shortest amount of distance is going to save you time every corner of every track. And on the flip side, being able to accelerate at the full rate without slipping too much, without burning up the tires too much, is also going to save you time exiting every corner lap after lap. But when it comes to handling, it does start and stop right here. Now, I hope you've learned something today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them right here, and be sure to stay tuned for future lessons that we have coming. This is the Simpit. I'm your instructor, Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.